us.
Talkline Network Radio, America's longest-running Jewish broadcast network, the voice of the Jewish community.
Welcome to the podcast. You are now tuned in to this episode of our podcast. Today, we are going to interview some of the greatest and most influential minds in our field. And now, please welcome your hosts.
You're listening to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981.
And we're back. You know, there are a fair amount of Holocaust movies that are out there, but not all of them are family friendly. Not all of them really also have, which caters to the Orthodox Jewish marketplace. There's a fantastic film that came out recently called Bardejov about a Holocaust leader, a leader of a community who saved lots of young women during the Holocaust. With us right now is Jacob Fiskus. He himself is a documentary filmmaker. His film on the Tree of Life was on HBO, and he's director of marketing for Bardejov Films. So welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's an honor to be on Talkline with you. We all know you in the world, Zev, and it's mamish an honor. Thank you for having me.
So I did watch the film Bardejov. I love the film, but I have to tell you, there is a family connection. I don't know if you're aware of that we have to the film. The film is about a Holocaust. Well, it goes back to the leader of a town. First, let's tell the synopsis of the story, then I'll tell you our connection.
Sure. So I can give you a synopsis. So it's a very, very unique story. It takes place in Bardejov in Slovakia, and Bardejov is a very unique town in Eastern Europe. Its Jewish history is very robust, very rich. We all know the Halberstam Hasidic dynasty. Halberstam was the chief rabbi there for a period of time, the town rabbi. And so the film takes place in 1942, the start of the war. And so the Hlinka Guard, which is the group in Slovakia that were Nazi collaborators, they were instructed by the Nazis to round up all the Jewish girls in Slovakia. They come to Bardejov, but the community leader was a very strong man. His name was Rafuel Lowy, a very, very incredible man, a hero. And he needed to figure out a way to save these girls. And he came up with something that was incredibly dangerous, but also ingenious. And I'm not going to give it away because I want people to watch the film, but he finds a way to save these girls. And a lot of people don't realize this, that this roundup of these Jewish girls in Slovakia was going to be the very first, and it was the very first Jewish transport to Auschwitz. So a little bit of history there. This was the very first Jewish transport to Auschwitz, but no girls from Bardejov were included, and that's because of Rafuel Lowy, played by Robert Davi, who people might know him from Die Hard, from License to Kill, which is a James Bond film. So Die and Kill, but this film goes in a very different direction than that.
People lived because of him.
People lived because of him. And Robert Davi performance is fantastic. He embodies the character. And Neil, who's the producer, who we'll get to in a minute, was very much particular about him, portraying Lowy, who wears, he wears the black hat in the film, as a very authentically, Orthodox Jewish person. So he does a great job and represents our people well on screen. And even though he's not Jewish, he's a huge fan of the Medina, off screen of the state of Israel. He's been a staunch defender. He's appeared on Fox News and elsewhere, defending the Jewish people. He's a huge lover of Am Yisrael, like everybody should be.
Absolutely. And the film is a feel-good film because there's a happy ending. If there could be a happy ending in a Holocaust film, and certainly there is. But the connection is Rafuel Lowy is the grandfather of somebody who's very close to our family. So,
wow.
So Rudy is my chutn. He's my daughter is married to Sam, and Sam's mother is married to Rudy.
Okay. Did they watch the film? Can they co-sign on its authenticity?
They watched the film and they can vouch for the authenticity. And I was at the film premiere with Emil Fish, which they had in New York a number of months ago, which was a great premiere. And listen, it's a film that's really, you don't have a lot of films that are family friendly. A lot of films could be. They have to put in curse words and they have to put in things that make it less family friendly.
For sure.
film that's, can cater to Jewish crowds, can cater to Christian crowds that are looking for
Absolutely.
oriented entertainment.
To me, it's universal. These days we divide. We have all these different genres: faith-based, not faith-based, but it's authentic. I mean, this was a town of Yidden, of Jews, that they had a plan. They were trying to come up with a plan, but they didn't just stop. They didn't just gather together to come up with a plan. They went into the shul and they davened and they fasted, and that's portrayed in the film. These are people that had emuna, and the emuna carried them through. And we certainly don't see stories like that. At least scripted stories, right? Like scripted films. We don't see that. Really, I can't think of many. And I certainly can't think of many films produced by a survivor from the town that the film takes place in and it's about. It's incredibly unique. And Emil has dedicated his life in the beginning of the movie. You see, like it's a modern day scene where he makes a neder that he's going to make sure people remember his town, and he's doing that. Besides for the film, he has this nonprofit organization called Bardejov Jewish Preservation Committee. He's rebuilt the Jewish institutions there. The synagogue, there were 2 synagogues that were essentially storage facilities. And he came in, he said, "What's going on over here?" He cleaned them out. He's rebuilding them. He rebuilt the mikvah. He's doing incredible work as we were talking about. There's a lot of people defending anti-Semitism, and we're so focused. Let's mention every single time someone says something not nice so we can be outraged about it and defend ourselves. But we have to stop playing defense as a people and be proud of who we are and play offense. This is a pro-Semitism film, and Emil is a pro-Semitism type of person, and that's the stuff that he's doing. We should be proud to be Jews. We should wear it on our sleeves that we're a people who believe in God and allow God to guide us, while also, of course, doing the work. And really, that's what makes this film, to me, special and unique.
Well, Emil Fish also, he's somebody who's committed, and he did the movie, which is fantastic. And he also has, he's connected with Yeshiva University. They have...
Oh, absolutely. The Emil and Jenny Fish Center for Genocide and Holocaust Studies. Emil this is what he's about. Remembering and fighting through, showing how wonderful we are as a people.
And the film is available, and we'll mention a couple of times. It's not available in movie theaters, but you can watch it online in a variety of the popular places where you can go. Tell everybody where they can watch this film.
Sure. You can rent the film for $5.99 on Amazon Prime, Apple TV Plus, Google Play, Vimeo, YouTube. You can rent it on YouTube. And I believe I mentioned everything. Android too, I believe. So a variety of places, a lot of ways to get it. And I can't recommend it enough if you're going to be, lounging around on Chol Moed one evening, and you want something to do with your family. This is a really valuable way to spend your time, and entertaining one too.
Exactly. And the message is really an uplifting message, because you have the leadership of one individual, Raful, who was able to come up with an out-of-the-box plan. I'm not going to give away the details.
But Lowy, of course, is the singular hero, but the community as a whole, right? To me, it's an illustration of Jews. We have communities all over the place, and this is a textbook example of the strength of community, the power of community to fight off even the most powerful, darkest force imaginable, which you wouldn't think. No way, this little community is gonna ward off, the Nazi threat, and they do it. So it's about community. It's about Emunah, and absolutely, it's a beautiful film with great themes.
And what's I find interesting in today's day and age, used to be you have to go to a movie theater. That was a big thing. Now, movies even bypass the movie theaters, right? You go straight to the public, and you're doing that
Absolutely.
through Google and through Prime and through other medium as well.
Constantly evolving landscape. Yeah, very different. And personally, as a film buff, I don't like watching movies on small screens. I like it on big screens, but this is the way people like to consume media and films these days. So it is what it is, and it's still great, whether you watch it on a small screen or big screen.
Well, you also, one of the things that I like about the fact is that, you're able to take this movie and film and take it to communities. So if you are a shul or a synagogue or organization and you don't want to watch it on your computer or your phone, you can actually have a screening in a synagogue or an organization or whatever it might be.
Absolutely. You can visit shoahhero.com and you can go ahead and book a community screening if you're a community member, president of a shul, congregant of a shul, and you like the film, or a community center, or even if you're not Jewish and you're part of some kind of a house of worship or community center, and you want to screen this very faith-based, faith-oriented film, you can go on the Shoah Hero, SHOAH hero.com, and you can scroll down and you'll see an option to go ahead and book a screening, and you fill out the form and book a screening, and we'd be absolutely honored and thrilled to be able to do that.
Jacob Fiskus is with us, director of marketing for Bardejov Films, and it's a family-friendly film that's really doing very, very well because it has a uplifting message of Rafal Lowy, who saved a whole bunch of young women from going to Auschwitz by coming up with a concept out of the box that worked. It's a true story. I know it because, as I said earlier, related to Rudy Lowy, whose grandfather was the hero of the film itself. So I know you love films, and I know that's why you're passionate about. And this is just the beginning, right? Even though Emil Fish is his first film, but I think he got the taste for doing more films that are family-friendly, that Jews and also Christians could watch. There are a lot of Christians who want family-friendly films that are able to watch them too.
Absolutely. I can't say what the films are going to be about or anything like that, but I can say that Emil Fish got the film bug, and he wants to make more of them, and he is making more of them. They're currently in production. There's a couple in production. I can't give release dates or anything about that, but what I can say is it's a blessing to the world to have somebody who's as dedicated to Am Yisrael, to the Jewish people, and to really just faith and God, as Emil is, to be making films. And so the film projects that are in the pipeline are going to be very much similar in theme to Bardejov. Not all Holocaust, of course. There's going to be a variety of period pieces and modern day pieces. So lots to look forward to, and you should be on the lookout.
Now, you're a film buff. There are quite a bit of Holocaust films that have been made and are even being made right now as we speak. So this is a little bit different, I should say, even though it's not the time here. I should say Manishtan, what makes this film different than other Holocaust films that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely. The Hollywood has become absolutely infatuated with the Holocaust. I think there's 2 or 3 Warsaw Ghetto movies coming out literally next year. And that's just Warsaw Ghetto. There's, I think, a dozen projects coming out, big ones, within the next year and several years. They just constantly turning them out. And I think people are getting a little bit of fatigued by them. What makes Bardejov different is, to me, without a doubt, is the emunah, the faith element to it. We don't see, Hollywood doesn't make a lot of movies about, faith and people who are devoutly religious and proud of it and use religion and their faith in God to get through tremendous challenges. And I think that's what makes this particular film unique. It's not shy at all about that. It's all about that. And another thing that I think makes it really unique is, again, a survivor from Bardejov made a film called Bardejov. I can't think of any, and I'm pretty plugged into this world, and I can't think of any Holocaust film that had been produced by that was on set, giving directions to people and had been working with the director. That was the survivor. He survived. Emil survived Bergen-Belsen. He was deported from Bardejov to Bergen-Belsen, survived. And so I think it's incredibly unique and a very special film in that right.
Now, you mentioned the power of prayer that comes before the film. You have some scenes about the fast of Esther, Tiny Esther, and you have some shul, which make it also different because, you're showing the beauty of Jewish life. Let's talk about that. That's a central part of the film too.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a fasting sequence, like a Purim sequence, and it's not just the fasting. It's not just tefillah crying. They're celebrating, and these are people who are first of all, mamish starving, very hungry, because access to food and work and all these and money and all these things has dissipated. And here they are saying, in the face of that, we're going to jump up and down and dance. And we all know how Purim is, having an absolutely fantastic time. And then they do that. It's incredibly inspiring. maybe my favorite part of the film actually is to see that, because you're just like, wow, that's how incredible is it that they're able to do that amidst the threat that's looming over them. They don't know what's going to happen. They know that this is just the beginning, right, of the Holocaust and of the horrors to come, but they're absolutely staunch about davening, and of course about celebrating life and celebrating being a Jew.
And it's very accessible because, as you mentioned, you can get it on Amazon, Apple TV, YouTube, Google Play, Verizon. I'm sure more places will come into play too. And so we're at Canada because there's a film now on Netflix, which should have been it's not a family-friendly film. And the ending is a horrible ending, which is making a lot of people are talking about it. So it's nice to see something that people can get also that is family friendly, that's true. It's a true story and true of heroism during the Holocaust, and not your typical Holocaust movie too. And that's what makes it distinctive. So
absolutely. And we really need a message now of hope and of positivity and of like in the film, like the people in the film and the community, not being shy, not being scared to be who you are. As a matter of fact, being who you are is the antidote. It's the tavlin, right? That's what the world is waiting for us to be who we are, and that's what we need. So this film wears Am Yisrael, it wears Yiddishkeit, Judaism, and faith and Emunah on its sleeve.
and of course, it's great to family can watch it together. It's a film that you can, so
Sure,
whether
sure.
it's Talmud, Sukkot, or Pesach, or any time, it's good. Then tell people if you're an organization or you're yeshiva or you're a community center that wants to rent the film. Does Emil speak, or they just show the film?
Emil will, 89 years old, kicking. He's still kicking. He can take both of us on. I'm telling you right now. But with that being said, can he come to every place to every screening? No, but if there's a big enough crowd, Emil will make the trek to be there, to either introduce the film, do an after screening discussion, Q&A. He's completely open to that.
So tell everybody how they can find out more information about the film.
Sure, you can find out more information on the film by visiting shoahhero.com. That's SHOAH hero.com, and you can learn more information about the film, how you can arrange a screening in your community center or house of worship. And it will also link you to the Bardejov Jewish Preservation Committee if you want to learn more about the history of Bardejov, because it is fascinating. A lot of good stuff on that site.
So Jacob Fiskus, he's director of marketing for Bardejov Films. It's not just one film. You can't tell us what the next film is going to be about.
Can't tell you anything. Dev, you're going to have, there's not enough you can pay me to get me to do that. I'm sorry.
But can you tell it? When will it be out?
Can't even tell you when it'll be out, Zev. Everyone's just going to have to wait in anticipation for Mashiach, but also for these amazing films that are there in the pipeline.
Bardejov, the movie, a must-see. I've seen it. It's a true story, uplifting story, even though it's dealing with a dark time in the Jewish people. But the family will enjoy it, and is family-friendly. So thank you for being a part of our show.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Zev.
Thank you for tuning in to
Talk Line with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast, the pulse beat of the Jewish community.
For continuous Jewish programs, TalkLineNetwork.com, or our 24-hour-a-day listen line at 641-741-0389. For past shows, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Instagram, and all major podcast platforms, or jewishpodcast.org. Thanks for listening to the TalkLineNetwork.com.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Terrific. Good job.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, no, radio is fun. I love radio.
Yeah, it's fun. I see why you've been doing it for